Hi friends, I hope you're doing well. I miss you a lot, and so I just want to read a story and do a few things with you, if possible, so that way we can kind of talk about a story. So I'm going to read the story, the true story of the three little pigs, and that's the title of the story. And it's told by the wolf. So we're going to read and kind of talk about the story. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. So this is told by the wolf, and the wolf is going to be one of our characters in the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault. Wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. So this is told by wolf's point of view. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house. So I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze. So you can see him, he sneezed, and look at what happened to the house. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little bit smarter, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin. I had grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth. I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like my brother's. When the dust clears and the second little pig dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. So do you see the second little pig? What do you think is going to happen next? Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He had built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that little pig answered? Get out of here, wolf. Don't bother me again. What do you think the wolf's gonna do? Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me one little cup for my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt a cold coming on. I huffed and I sneezed, and I sneezed once again, and then the third little pig yelled, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down the pig's house. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all of that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it, the real story. I was framed. So maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar so you can see the wolf. He's sitting there in jail. So now let's kind of talk about the story a little bit, and then maybe you can do some writing about the story. So first, some of you have probably seen these finger puppets before. I know I've used them with some of you. We're going to talk about characters. So what were some of the characters in my story? Take a second to think about it. Do you think maybe the wolf and the 3 little pigs were characters in my story? I think so. Characters are people or animals in the story. Now the setting is where it takes place. What do you think the setting might be? What do you think? Yeah, I think the setting was outside, and you could see him going to the little pig's house, couldn't you? Now, what do you think happened at the beginning or the start of my story? Yeah, I think at the beginning, the wolf needed a cup of sugar, didn't he? So he decided to go to the pig's house. Now, what do you think happened in the middle of the story? What do you think? Yeah, I think for the middle of the story, he went to each of the pigs' house and asked for some sugar, didn't he? And knocked over some of their houses, didn't they? At the end of the story, what happened? Yeah, the wolf ended up going to jail, didn't he? And he still didn't get his cup of sugar. So very good. So maybe with the last few minutes, you can take some time and you can do some writing about what you think happened at the beginning of the story, what happened in the middle, and then what happened at the end of the story. So maybe you can write out those 3 things for me. The beginning, I can write the beginning, the middle, and then the end of the story. So if you could write those 3 things and then have mom or dad take a picture of your writing and send it to me through Dojo, that would be great. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed my story today. I hope that I can post a few more videos as well. So I will talk to you later, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for reading with me. Bye.